things were needing so much upkeep, things were failing, we were starting to have other issues, and the amount of work we were doing to the van was actually more than the time we were spent traveling.
So we bought a new Tundra.
We're not biased.
They also, of course, put us in touch here with Mainline. Yeah, you know, this is the first time that Norweld anyway is putting a tray on one of these trucks, so they need all the measurements from scratch. None of their existing measurements will work for the older models.
With the Norweld tray on its way in from Australia, it was time to get a parts list together and create a solid foundation for the flatbed build. With Tight Loop's Tundra now under the knife on our lift, it was time to turn it over to the experts who have a long history of crafting and perfecting our Norweld tray builds.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Matt.
And we put together Tight Loop's build.
That sucked. You didn't say anything about Mainline Norweld. I think.
All right, fair enough.
All right.
Okay, ready? I'm Pete.
And I'm Matt.
And we're with Mainline Everland.
So working on this project, we've worked on a lot of Tundras in the past, mostly second gens, built a lot of flatbed conversions for those. Knowing that we had the third gen coming down the line, what were some of the challenges we ran into, Pete?
The third gen basically went to more of like a car-like design. It's using coil springs in the rear, which definitely presented some challenges getting rid of the leaf springs that we're used to working with, but it also gave us some opportunities for a more flexible suspension system.
On the rear, there were suspension options that were kind of being developed as the platform was being rolled out. And we worked with our partners over at Davidson's USA to basically come up with a suspension option for the rear of the vehicle.
Yeah, what's really unique about Toyotas is when you are trying to develop a new fitment, a lot of times you look to the old fitments and see what is kind of close and see if you can make it work. And 9 times out of 10, it just fits. So that's why we put a set of coil springs from a vehicle that is 30 years older than the vehicle that we were working on in there, and they work perfectly.
Well, the design was 30 years old. The springs are brand new, right?
Yeah, we didn't put 30-year-old springs in there, so disclaimer, new parts.
Yeah.
So thank you, Matt.
Yes.
With the rear suspension now dialed in, lack of parts availability for this new platform had us searching for a proper front suspension solution.
They were looking for something that was going to be easily serviced, not require rebuilds, a remove and replace component with an OEM lifespan when the time came. That product did not exist during this build, so we accommodated a front end lift with a spacer at this time.
Yeah.
With a stout suspension setup now underneath the Tundra, the next challenge was finding an attractive but capable wheel and tire combo to handle the additional weight of accessories we'd be throwing at this truck.
Went from what was traditionally a 5x150 5-lug to a 6-lug 6x139, but a different center bore than your average Toyota, right, Pete?
Yeah, different offset as well. So that presented some opportunities for us to verify fitment when we got this early Tundra in the shop. So getting that baseline wheel on there, that I believe that was a GX460 wheel on there, gave us the baseline measurement to go back and fine-tune the offset, make sure we have the right center bore, so we have hub-centric wheels, which are really important.
There are a lot of wheels out there on the marketplace that look cool and are, could be a good option potentially. But for a build like this, where we're putting additional weight on, we need the load carrying, that load rating, that load carrying capacity that the EvoCourse wheel offers. A lot of the other wheels that we were interested in or that the customer were interested in just did not meet the needs and the specs that we were looking for, and we had to basically say no to them. And the Evos kind of shine in that department because they are, really built for this type of use.
So that's the reason that we went with this wheel. It has a very high load rating, higher than an OEM wheel, which not all aftermarket wheels can actually pull off. And if you're looking at an aftermarket wheel that does not have a published load rating, it is because it is lower than the OEM one, and they just don't want to talk about it. So. Yeah. That's a real pride point for us and for EvoCourse, that these wheels are super strong. They're meant to take the weight, and they're the wheel to put on your vehicle if there's a fitment for it. When you're putting a 4-wheel camper, big bumpers, winches, adding all that weight, and you want that reliability and that correct fitment.
With a solid foundation now underneath the truck, it was finally time to mount the Norweld tray.
We basically got started with Norweld, I believe around 2015, 2016, when we fitted the first Norweld tray in the US to our Tacoma Access cab. So we fitted a tray, we fitted a canopy, we coupled that with our 4-wheel campers, worked with them on the perfect fit. there was nothing that approached the quality on the market. Reached out to Norweld, got coupled up with Isaac over there, who helped us dial in the fitment of the tray and even came over and helped us install the first one.
Yeah.
So from there it really kicked off to trays for full-size trucks, trays for different fitments, underbed storage, rear pull-out storage, onboard water.
Yeah, and we've worked together with Norweld over the years to design unique fitments for each truck.
Yes.
And so when we had a brand new truck platform, we worked with Norweld to design a tray that would fit it perfectly.
Yeah, what's really unique is the bracketry and the fit kit for the tray is engineered to the truck that it is being fitted to. So these aren't universal mounts. That really sets it apart from, again, any other universal tray in the market that's just getting like U-bolted to the frame, or there's some really comical ways that some of these universal trays are fitted. So again, engineered mounts, engineered fill necks, wiring harnesses, sensor mounts. So those were all things that we had to help provide measurements on to get Norweld to engineer that package. And
yet another difference between the 3rd gen and the 2nd gen Tundras were a lot of the safety features on the rear of the truck, right, Pete?
Absolutely, yeah. The blind spot monitoring presented another challenger opportunity to get mounted up, get fitted so we can still have full functionality of that. You know, in the past, in previous generations and other fitments, depending on the vehicle, those have to get removed and get kind of deleted in a box delete software update. But with this new Tundra, we were able to work with Norweld to get the correct mounts, to get them located in the correct location, so full functionality of your blind spot monitoring system, which is really nice when you have something big on the back like a 4-wheel camper or you're towing, and then also parking sensors that we have integrated into the lower lip of the Norweld tray itself. So,
another feature we love about Norweld trays is their under-tray mounted boxes. These provide additional dry, dust-proof storage, which is essential to keeping your camper clean and organized. These boxes also provide a great mounting location for an ARB twin compressor, which is a must-have when venturing off-road. Norweld offers these boxes in a few different options with varying heights and widths for different applications.
So obviously the Tundra is going after the #1 selling truck in the market, which is the F-150, and there's no mistake that there's too much chrome on the front of both of them. So the mass market needs to get their act together and have better taste. But in the meantime, we went ahead and swapped that grill out to a TRD Pro grill. We color matched the grill surround as well to tie it into the truck and get rid of the ridiculous fake chrome that was everywhere on this thing. And we also just cut the lower jaw off of this truck. It turns out if you remove that, it looks like a truck again, unless like a sad pedestrian compliant vehicle that needs to be soft when you run over somebody in a crosswalk.
The grill needed to look the same as the bumper.
We put on a full width bumper that gave us that high clearance, the better approach, winch mounting capability, lighting, all while not being too much on the front of the truck.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times customers come to us and they want our, preference or our recommendation, and we're looking for those important factors like Pete said, high clearance, added protection, the ability to mount lights, winch mount, recovery points. Checking all those important boxes and then trying to find something that aesthetically pulls the whole thing together and looks, like it should have been like that from the factory.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely wanted like form and function to come together. We also wanted it to look appropriate, period correct, if you will, which I believe the C4 actually looks correct and new and modern and works with that truck.
Yeah.
Over, say, like a classic bull bar, which kind of belongs on a classic truck, right? So. That was something that we definitely had in mind, and also the customer, Tight Loops, had in mind as well.
With Tight Loops Tundra now all wrapped up, the last thing to do was put on some shakedown miles before Chase and Amy took this truck across the country.
Lead the way. Wow.
God, it looks so much better.
Yeah.
So much better.
In the end, we were honored that Tight Loops Fly trusted us with their vision for this build and couldn't be happier with how it turned out. New platforms are always a challenge, but an end result like this makes it all worth it. Our time with the Tundra might be over now, but the story doesn't end there.
Yeah, we sent this Tundra to boot camp, basically. Cut all of the soft stuff off of it, everything that shouldn't be on it, got it into lean, mean fighting shape. We're excited for the big travel journey that they have heading south with all their takeoff parts, their bed. It's going to look a little interesting, beds on beds. But we are pumped to see this unit head out to California and get its 4-wheel camper installed. And we have something really unique in terms of the fitment. It's way different from what we've done in the past and any of the other 4-wheel camper dealers or 4-wheel campers themselves. So we're excited to see what it looks like, how it performs, and we're pumped that Chase and Amy trusted us to go with this combo because it is the right combo.